Okay, so you've got yourself a Capcom Deluxe cabinet, and at this point, you would go ahead and just take the other side panel and complete the upper section, then combine the upper and lower sections to form one cabinet, plug it in and start playing. But we're not going to do that just quite yet, because this is going to be an Alien Vs Predator cabinet, not a Street Fighter II cabinet. So I have custom designed a artwork package to make that happen, and this is the point when you would install this stuff. Now, what stuff am I talking about? Let's run over there. Okay, so here's a custom artwork package I put together to make this cabinet look like an Alien vs Predator cabinet. Here's the bezel. You know, the majority of this is going to be cut out for the monitor, so you should just see the upper half of each character. So that should look good. You still kept the, I want to go ahead and keep this moves list here. It's kind of small. It's tough to read, but it's going to hopefully nail the look, and the control panel should come just shy, just underneath that. Here's my marquee, not a sticky piece like we had to do with the third generation cabinet that we're replacing. It's not reverse printed. That's the only downside. But to get this quickly, this is what I had to go with. And it really looks good. It's going to look great in that cabinet. The side art is the best part, because instead of having to worry about this big piece, these big rolls that are really expensive, all we really need is a 12-inch wide by 15-inch tall piece. Now, I left a lot of margin on the left and the right in case I need to trim, because right in the corner where the cabinet comes in, we'll have to trim just a little bit there. So we're going to retain all that image, but the important thing, this is going to cover up that Street Fighter II logo. Okay, so I thought that I was going to be able to assemble the entire cabinet after I got the marquee in, and then I could just leave the control panel out and take off this this bezel, this monitor bezel. But the problem is it's kind of captured by this speaker board here, the speaker panel here. So I'm going to have to go ahead and leave it loose for now. Then I can take off all my little screws, peel this off, install the new artwork, and then put it back on. And unfortunately, you can see that these aren't going to be an exact match. The size overall is pretty good. You can see this is a little bit larger than this, but it's clearly lighter than this. It's something that maybe I could go back and maybe darken this back panel up just a little bit to try to match that. But I think for the most part, it's going to be fine. It shouldn't bother me too much. But if it does, I can always take the cabinet apart, reprint this, and try again. But for now, it's close enough for me. Let's go ahead and go with it. All right, so once we get this down all the way, we'll go ahead, we'll trim all the way around, and then we have the advantage of a viewing window from this side. So all we have to do is take these measurements and then transfer them to the other side, mark out this rectangle, we should be good to go. We should be able to get the exact viewing angle. Let's keep cracking. Okay, so with the bezel art on, let's go ahead and do one more modification, one little thing, one little detail that I wanted to do with this cabinet specifically. We've got the black and we've got the gray. These speaker covers, oh, just dropped them. These speaker covers just kind of, the grill's fine, but the bezel just kind of blends in. So I think that it might look better if you go with something like this. This is not the chrome ones that I bought before that give it a pro look. I didn't really want to go with the pro look, but I did want to go with the gray. I think the gray stands out a little bit. Now, this may not be something you want to do, but for me and for this cabinet, I think it actually looks really good. And let's go ahead, finish this thing off. I can't wait to see how it's going to look when it's all put back together.
And as I was assembling the cabinet, I did like I always do and drill 2 holes in the eye panel in preparation for the installation of the Retro 530 lit coin door mod, which is what I'm doing now. I like to drill my holes at 3/8 of an inch and then add some hot glue just to keep everything nice and secure.
Okay, so here you have it, a pair of Alien vs Predator cabinets. Yeah, I'm pretty excited. It's not a bad thing. So this went together really well. The artwork on this looks great. You can tell this is a little bit lighter than what's going on down here. I think I could go back into my editing software and darken that up just a little bit. Also, something else to take note of. Uh, something when you try to plan for everything, you can't always plan for everything. There's a screw right in Dutch's face, right there. So if I was to go back and redo this, I would definitely darken this up just a little bit. It's not that far off. And then I would definitely take Dutch and move him over just a little bit, maybe ½ inch or 3/4 to get that screw out of his forehead. But beyond that, it looks really good. It came out really, I mean, exactly like I thought, minus the screw on Dutch's face right there. So it looks really good. The cabinet is funny. It's actually taller than my original 3rd gen on the 4-inch riser, and yet the control panel is so much lower, and the actual screen itself is so much lower. So when you walk up to it, I can still see it fine, and the angle's okay. I just kind of wish it was. If you're going to add the increased height, you really want to move everything else up, but I know that would kind of make this cabinet look silly. But as far as the cabinet itself, my first impressions now with it fully assembled, I got to say, as I thought, I love this chin right here, giving your palm something to rest on while you're playing. The fact that this is actually smooth, I mean, this is like super flush all the way across. There's no bump here that we saw in those 1st generation Legacy, so that is a good thing for sure. So it looks great. The artwork was, for the most part, pretty simple to put on. Even this bezel wasn't that bad to cut out, but it's playing the wrong game. So what we got to do now that we've got it looking like it should, we also have to make it play like it should. So the next step is going to be taking the hardware, swapping it out of here, and going over here. There's going to be some details that we're going to have to work out. Remember, you have to do some modifications to the control panel, at least the 3rd generation control panel. I think, fingers crossed, when it comes to this control panel, we may not have to drill any more holes. But at least with the Deluxe, you don't have to worry about also drilling through that deck protector. Anyway, thank you so much for stopping by and checking out the channel. Y'all have a blessed day, and I will see all of you next time.